Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be doing a deep dive into AI investing, or AI cryptos, or AI stocks, or maybe something else, the best entryway to invest in artificial intelligence. And remember, these are just my opinions and thoughts on the matter. Nothing I say is financial advice. So make sure you guys do your own research and understand the risks involved in anything that you're investing in, because as always, investing is a risk. Now, we have been seeing a lot of kind of the narrative around AI heightening and growing. And I believe that we're going to continue to see this occur. And so a lot of people have been asking, well, where do I invest in AI? Do I invest in AI stocks? Do I invest in AI cryptos? Or do I invest somewhere else? Well, in this video, we're going to be exploring all of that. But I think it's important that we understand artificial intelligence is a set of technologies that enables computers to perform a variety of advanced functions and the ability to see, understand, and translate spoken and written language, analyze data, make recommendations, and more. And so this requires very high levels of computer power. High power compute is what it's called, HPC. And there are quite a number of stocks that are already involved in AI. We know that OpenAI is looking to potentially go public at some point and be a publicly traded company. But generally speaking, my view on this through my analysis and research into AI technologies is that a lot of them don't really have much besides these chatbots and stuff like that, at least the publicly traded ones at this point. And so they're not necessarily making money because they don't have like this an economic model just yet. And so it's kind of difficult in my view to kind of analyze the market caps and the valuations of these companies now, because we don't really know where AI is going. And so then you have to ask yourself, okay, if AI stocks are not really there, I mean, one of the largest ones is OpenAI. They're not even here. Twitter or X and XAI, they're not publicly traded either. And so there are publicly traded companies that are developing AI, right? Like Facebook, Meta, Google, but we don't have access to kind of, again, the economic model for how that's going to make them money and therefore increase the value of the stock, because in investing you want the value of your stock price to go higher. That way you can have a higher valuation in your own portfolio. So then you have to wonder, is AI cryptos the way to go? And so we're going to come back to AI cryptos in just a minute. But before we go there, I wanted to also explore another area of AI, which is this kind of HPC, high power compute arena. Because again, to process all of the AI data that millions of people would be using, you would have to have massive data centers with massive amounts of compute power. And so this actually may be where the money is, beyond the stocks and beyond the cryptos. Now, we're going to come back to the cryptos in a minute, because I do think that there is some potential here to make money within the crypto world, but we're going to come back to that in just a minute. What I've been following on this channel specifically is Bitcoin mining companies and Bitcoin mining stocks. These are the companies that have these large data centers with, hundreds of thousands of these Bitcoin mining machines that are mining Bitcoin 24/7 for the most part. And these data centers are basically can do the same things and have the same amounts of infrastructure in terms of the electricity that they need, the space that they need, the cooling that they need, the wiring and other types of infrastructure that they need to expand, not just from a Bitcoin mining perspective, but also from an AI perspective. And also keep in mind, sometimes mining Bitcoin is not profitable for these Bitcoin mining companies. And so we do hear private miners and also public miners will shut their machines off when it's not profitable. Well, imagine instead of shutting the machines off, they can just switch from Bitcoin mining to AI compute. And I do believe as we move forward and these kind of technologies and the infrastructure behind them, the high power compute behind them becomes more decentralized, there will be the ability to turn off high power compute and go back to Bitcoin mining, or go back to Bitcoin mining from high power compute, depending on which is more profitable at the time. And that creates a market. That creates an entire marketplace for trading data and power compute server and rack space, as well as electricity, as well. I mean, there's so many different offshoots to this. And so this article came out recently, which kind of got me thinking about this a little bit more because we have been doing videos on the Bitcoin mining space. You can look at my video on my channel called I review every single Bitcoin mining stock or something like that. And by the way, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and give the video a free thumbs up. Thumbs up. Let me know you guys enjoy this kind of content. So it says AI is here, but that doesn't mean Bitcoin miners are finished. Public Bitcoin miners are rushing to build AI business lines, but there's still room for their original mandate, according to an investment bank analyst. Now, effectively, yes, right? Bitcoin miners are now looking at AI, and probably it says, and business pivots to high performance compute are all the rage in the Bitcoin mining space. And this started as a gradual trend of Bitcoin mining companies looking into, high power compute, but it turned into really something that if they have the infrastructure, they have the power capacity, because keep in mind, Bitcoin mining takes up a lot of energy, right? Power. And the same thing for these high power compute, and not just running the machines, but also cooling them, right? Because you have all thousands of machines constantly running, it produces a lot of heat. And so Van Eck, a financial institution in the United States, said that Bitcoin miners may gain $14 billion yearly from nearly a 20% shift to AI and HPC. And this was written last year in 2024. And so they're saying 13 or $14 billion yearly from just a 20% shift. Meaning if it was a 100% shift, what is that? 13 times 5. So or 14 times 5. So basically $55 billion dollars, something like that. And so they say Bitcoin miners could increase profitability and improve bad balance sheets by allocating some of their energy capacity to the AI and HPC sectors. And so if you think about a company that says, okay, we're going to build and expand and create an AI and HPC center, they have to find the land. They have to get the energy company to install whatever energy needs they have, which will probably be extremely expensive. They need to buy all of the servers and the server racks. They need to hire people to install this. This could take multiple years, but we need AI and HPC now. And so when I think about an investing space, right, the stocks are not investable at this point because we don't know. I mean, maybe as kind of like a lottery play, but we don't know what any of these companies are going to do or doing. They're not even any of the largest companies that are doing this kind of thing. And if another company buys them up, like Meta or Amazon or Google, they're probably going to underpay them from what you would expect if you were a shareholder in another company, right? And so AI stocks are not investable. AI crypto is slightly investable. We'll get to that in just a few minutes here. But I think that these Bitcoin mining companies are probably the best suited. And when I show you the price of these stocks, when I'm recording this in February 2025, you are going to be floored at how undervalued they are, not just from their Bitcoin mining operation, but also from the fact that all they have to do is switch to AI and HPC, make this minor switch in basically how they run their operation, and boom, they are unlocking potential of nearly $14 billion a year. That's just with 20% of their operation, and that's according to Van Eck. I believe they were referencing this article. It says Bitcoin miners AI arbitrage play is going to boost revenue. They said we heard fundamental theses for publicly traded Bitcoin miners highlighting their increasingly important roles in AI and high-powered computing and energy markets. Publicly traded Bitcoin miners now control a record percentage of Bitcoin's global hash rate, and their collective market cap reached an all-time high in July of 2024. The market vector, okay, then they talk about the price and all of that. But it says, we speak to many investors who are still unaware that Bitcoin miners now have significant exposure to AI. The synergy is simple. AI companies need energy and Bitcoin miners have it. As the market values the growing AI HPC data center market, access to power, especially in the near term, what we were just talking about, is commanding a premium. Due to heightened energy demands from Bitcoin miners and data centers, North American grid interconnection queues now exceed 4 Years. But the Bitcoin miners that are already operating, they already have access to the grid. They already have access to the energy. And so these other companies that are going to have to wait 4 years just to turn on, just to turn on at the earliest date. Now, granted, some of that may change now under the new administration, but either way, it's still going to take a little bit more time than just flipping a switch like the Bitcoin mining companies can do. However, by drawing large loads and collaborating with power grids and participating in grid balancing programs, existing Bitcoin miners are uniquely equipped to support AI HPC immediately. Grid balancing programs is, let's say there's like a snowstorm and the general population is using more energy. The energy companies will tell the Bitcoin mining companies, shut your machines off or use less energy because we need to power the rest of the grid. And then they slow down their operation, give more power back to the grid. And sometimes it happens opposite. They'll say you can use more energy because the grid is not using as much. Anyway, suitable Bitcoin mining sites can now energize GPUs for AI in less than a year compared to the 4+ years required for greenfield AI data center development to go online. This highlights the potential value of this time arbitrage. They said that they found Bitcoin miners trade an average of $4.5 million per megawatt of installed capacity compared to $30 million per megawatt for some data center stocks. That's a significant undervaluation, right? And again, these data centers, they're just data centers. They're just server rooms. The Bitcoin mining companies, they are actually running a business and they are actually operating a global financial network, right? I think they would be more security savvy, more keep this shit online savvy, right? Make sure everything works savvy. And we have not had any major issues from an operations standpoint at any of these major Bitcoin mining companies. If properly equipped with power, bandwidth, and cooling systems, Bitcoin mining sites are ideal for capturing this value of AI HPC cloud services. Now, again, this was last year. Okay, so we're already 8 months after this was written by the financial analyst at Van Eck. Early adopters like Core Scientific are reaping the rewards. Now, like I've talked about on my channel, Core Scientific for years at this point. We talked about Core Scientific when they were in bankruptcy, when the stock was 5 cents. Adjusted to the new stock, it would have been 50 cents per share. And now Core Scientific, if we look at the price, here we go, CORZ. And the old one was, I think, CORZQ. We're at $10 and the peak was $18. So from 50 cents to $18, that's a 40x. And we were talking about that first right here on this channel. Anyway, on June 3rd in 2024, Core Scientific, the fourth largest Bitcoin miner by hash rate, secured a 12-year contract with AI hyperscaler CoreWeave, projected to generate over $3.5 billion in revenue for providing 200 megawatts of infrastructure. CoreWeave exercised its first option for additional capacity 3 weeks later, adding $1.2 billion for an extra 70 megawatts over 12 years. Then, in early August, CoreWeave exercised yet another option for Core Scientific to deliver 112 more megawatts of high-power compute to host NVIDIA GPUs. Core Scientific could become one of the largest U.S. data center operators if CoreWeave exercises up to 118 of future megawatts of future expansions. And that's just Core Scientific, guys. There's a lot more going on. Analysts eye Bitcoin miners' AI and chip sales ahead of their Q4 earnings. End of February, basically all the Bitcoin miners are giving their earnings reports. It's not necessarily about what they've already done. It's going to be really more about where they see this going in 2025, and I anticipate to hear a lot about AI. Now, Riot Platforms, one of the other largest Bitcoin mining companies in the United States, you can see Core Scientific has a $2.8 billion valuation. Riot has a $3.2 billion valuation. Now, Riot Platforms launched a formal evaluation of potential AI and HPC uses for the remaining 600 megawatts of power capacity at their Corsicana facility. And so they're looking at converting, right? Like, let's go back to this article for a second. So $3.5 billion for 200 megawatts, okay? 3.5 for 200 megawatts. And Riot has 600 megawatts here. So that's 3 times that, which means it would be $10.5 billion if they make an agreement similar to CoreWeave and Core Scientific's agreement that's $10.5 billion potential. And to support the assessment of this feasibility for AI, Riot has engaged a leading consultant in the data center industry. The company currently utilizes 400 megawatts of capacity for Bitcoin mining at that facility and has up to 1 gigawatt of total capacity at the site approved by the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. So they already have the approval to expand. They just need to find the business line to do that. And I think they're going to. I believe Riot Platforms also just recently hired a new executive or board of director who's from that, like the AI and HPC space as well. So we probably will see a little bit of that. Remember, Riot owns 20% of the Bitfarms ecosystem. And I actually have an article on Bitfarms here that we'll get to in just a minute. But before we do that, also in February of 2025, Bitcoin miner Riot appoints the former Hut 8 CEO to their board amid their AI exploration. So, I think that's what I was talking about. Before. They appointed a new former Hut 8 CEO to their board of directors to help oversee the evaluation of their Bitcoin mining infrastructure for potential AI and HPC computing use cases. And this is really smart because next year in 2026, we'll probably either be in a bear market or very close to a bear market. And so in a bear market, Bitcoin mining companies they don't really make that much money. In fact, last cycle, a lot of the Bitcoin mining companies either went bankrupt or went very close to bankruptcy, including Core Scientific. And so the fact that they're going to potentially be able to strategize and implement this year in 2025, therefore they're ready for the bear market 2026, 2027, they can move over from Bitcoin mining to AI compute, which will probably be more profitable in the bear market. And then they can build up their Bitcoin mining facilities for the bull market where it will be more profitable. And this gives the Bitcoin mining companies this kind of bull bear market cycle to play with. Because previously, like I said, during previous cycles in 2021, the Bitcoin mining companies, they were buying pre-ordering and prepaying for literally tens or hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin mining machines that were going to be delivered, ended up being the bear market. And so they got all these machines in the bear market. The cost of energy was higher in the bear market, and the machines were worth less in the bear market. So they basically lost three ways. And that's why a lot of these companies went bankrupt. And I was like, how did they not see the bear market coming? How did they not see it? And it seems to me that a lot of these Bitcoin mining companies are preparing for the bear market and potentially utilizing this AI HPC pivot to help them make it through the bear market. Moving on to Bitfarms. Bitfarms is the latest Bitcoin miner to explore AI and HPC alternatives. This was from the end of January 2025. Bitfarms said that they're exploring ways to enter the AI and HPC space as Bitcoin miners continue to explore alternatives to the Bitcoin mining ecosystem. Bitfarm has engaged two expert consultants in AI and HPC strategy to conduct feasibility analysis on all of their North American sites and advise on their global HPC and AI strategy. So Bitfarms is doing it as well. Bitfarms, Riot Platforms, Core Scientific, Hut 8 Mining, they're all doing it. And all of these companies, they're literally at multi-year lows. A lot of these stocks, Bitfarms, multi-year lows, right? We're at about a $550 million US dollar valuation. We look at Riot Platforms, pull up the 5-year chart, multi-year lows here. And so I do think that these Bitcoin mining companies, they're well positioned for this whole AI boom. Because like we said, the AI stocks, there's nothing there. And when we look at the AI cryptos, there's not really anything here either. Except, by the way, ICP has been vindicated. Internet Computer is now listed as an AI crypto, which it was not previously. But anyway, here's the deal, guys. These AI cryptos, besides Near Protocol and Internet Computer and maybe Render, none of them really do anything. None of them are where we need them to be, right? They're just not. Internet Computer is already running AI on their platform. Granted, it's very early stages of AI. Near Protocol, I believe, is doing some AI stuff work as well. Although I do think that Internet Computer should have a higher valuation than Near Protocol based on the actual technology they have today, not what they're trying to do. And Render, we know, is already kind of integrated with some Apple products in on the back end. And this AI HPC arena, I think, is super important. BitTensor, I mean, what are they doing, right? Filecoin, what are they doing? And again, when I look at the investing world in crypto, it's not what they are saying they could do. It's about what they can do today. Never even heard of this one, never even heard of this one. And then Fetch, which is now ASI, Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, which was a merger of Fetch AI, Singularity Net, and Ocean Protocol. But here's the deal, guys. They merged last year, right? In about, I don't know, around the Bitcoin halving time. And we haven't heard, and then they just disappeared. We haven't heard from anybody from any three of those entities, and we haven't seen any products released. We haven't seen any projects launch anything. And so, is it investable? Right? On a narrative basis, yeah, it's probably investable because it is the AI coin. It's the artificial superintelligence coin. But from a technology standpoint, an implementation standpoint, again, there's going to be a lot of companies that are saying, "Oh, we're going to build out these data racks and these data centers for AI." But as you guys have seen through our reporting earlier in the video, it's going to take 4+ years just to get connected to the grid. So AI stocks are not investable. AI cryptos are not really investable, right? Because you're not investing in Internet Computer just for their AI implementation of large language models. You're investing in the world's computer, the ability for them to connect to Bitcoin, transact on Bitcoin, interconnect to different blockchains. I mean, there's other technology on top of Internet Computer. Near Protocol, questionable, but yeah, they have other technologies, right? Okay, we'll pass on that. Anyway, moving on. But what what are these AI cryptos actually doing? Who is actually adopting these blockchain ecosystems to implement AI or AI compute? None right now. None right now, including Internet Computer. Like nobody's using Internet Computer for AI right now. It's still under development. But again, this is the development of AI. This is the stocks. They're not really investable because we don't really know what they're doing and nobody's really using it from an economic model. The AI cryptos, it's the same thing. But here's the deal. If we believe, and I personally believe that AI and the AI usage and AI compute needs are going to continue to grow, the best place to invest is the infrastructure behind it. Because then it doesn't matter whether these companies or cryptos succeed or don't succeed. It doesn't matter to me because they're still going to be paying these data centers to process the AI compute for those companies. So it's like, don't I forgot what the saying is. It's like don't invest in, I don't remember what the saying is. It's like don't invest in something, invest in whatever. You guys kind of get it. Don't invest in the actual technology. Invest in the technology behind the technology. And in my view, here's a list of the Bitcoin mining companies. I just wrote Bitcoin mining stocks, and here's the whole list. I think there's some more as well, and you can go do research. You can look at my video. I think it's called I review the top Bitcoin mining stocks that I just posted in February 2025. I mean, I've reviewed the top ones that I believe are going to move higher. I believe have the infrastructure to build, not just on the Bitcoin mining front, but also on the AI and high power compute front. Marathon Digital. And then there's another aspect to these companies that is kind of like another backup, right? So you have them mining Bitcoin, you have them pivoting to AI and HPC as well. And a lot of these companies also own Bitcoin. Marathon Digital, 40,000 Bitcoin. Riot Platforms, 18,000 Bitcoin. Clean Spark, 10,500 Bitcoin. Hut 8 Mining, 10,000 Bitcoin. And so on and so forth. You guys kind of get it. And so they have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. They have Bitcoin mining, so they're mining new Bitcoin as well. And they're pivoting to AI and HPC and are already getting contracts signed for billions of dollars in multiple decades, really. 12 years is more than one decade. That's big. And so even if AI dissipates into nothing like the metaverse did, right? Over the last 3 years, nobody wants to go in the metaverse anymore or live in the metaverse, right? That was just I don't know, a phase, I guess. Even if AI doesn't grow, which I think it's going to, but even if it doesn't, these companies are going to be fine because they have other lines of business that will keep them operating. Where these stocks, like I said, another company can just buy them up for very cheap. And then you never actually realize the growth in your investment and also the company that you would have been able to see had they stayed public. And with the AI cryptos, just gambling. It's just a big casino. Because yes, they're in development, but they're developing the technology and they're up against the Nvidias of the world, the OpenAIs of the world, the XAIs of the world, and so on, right? And so maybe investing in the technology is not the key. It's the technology that runs the AI, which is the key. And in my view, that's the Bitcoin mining stocks. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments of this video. Do you think that this is the AI play? Do you think that this video was a great deep dive on this whole ecosystem of where to invest, how to invest, and what I think in the AI realm is the best avenue for investment? Let me know down below in the comments. I'll see you when I see you. And as always, crypto on.